Hey guys, welcome to an all new episode of HBFIT TV. We are here at Westbourne with Camilla, who's the founder. And if you haven't been here yet, it is delicious. It needs to be on your radar. It's like, I've been here so many times now. They've only been open for 4 months. And we're doing plant-based content here at HBFIT for the month of April. And so
my birth month.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, when is it past or?
It is past. Almost an April Fool's baby. I was born at midnight on April 2nd.
Oh my God, cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us the concept behind Westbourne and why did you want to be a vegetarian restaurant, and like just tell us a little bit also about your background, because I know you've been in the hospitality world for a while now, and now this is your first on your own venture.
Yeah, so here at Westbourne, we are LA inspired, vegetable forward, and mission driven. So for us, it's all LA all day. So we're open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day, same menu throughout the day. You'd be amazed how much waffles and wine we have. People enjoy it over dinner. Love it, they're my faves.
Oh my God, I love that.
And we're vegetable forward. We really believe in vegetarianism, really more about sustainability and our environment. Literally no one on our team, including myself, is a vegetarian full-time, but I think all of us share a passion for, really it's undeniable now that it is the leading cause of, where we are in our environment.
Yeah.
And I think that, our carbon emissions, our carbon footprint is something that we just can't turn a blind eye to anymore. And for us, if we can integrate a vegetarian lifestyle for people into their daily lives a couple days a week and have it be a place where you're sort of saying, oh, this is just delicious.
Yeah.
Think about how much we can really change the world collectively, and that's really part of our goal. And to us,
that's amazing.
We sort of say accidentally vegetarian, decidedly wholesome. The goal is that you leave and think, oh, yeah, I didn't have meat, but I didn't really think about it, I didn't miss it. So we don't do binders, nothing artificial, no tofu, no seitan. It's not about sort of faux wings. There are all those places.
Yeah, because I feel like that's such a big thing for so many people, is that they're trying to do the imitation of what they can't have instead of like embracing all the things, all the possibilities with whole foods and amazing produce.
Totally. And for us, growing up in California, I think looking back, I didn't realize how much my mom introduced that to us as just a way of life. It wasn't meatless Mondays and like bolognese, but it's not meat. It was just really great produce, really honoring what we have in our earth, which is incredible. And now more than ever, I feel like there's a reversion to thinking diversely about what you plant, what you harvest, and, really being thoughtful about that. And why not celebrate that and use them creatively in a way that's just delicious and exciting and inspiring, not preachy, not fake, not artificial.
Right. Speaking of farming, I heard this last night from an acupuncturist who said the most radical thing you can do right now is plant your own vegetables and eat your own vegetables. And I was like, damn, that is kind of like mind-blowing though. Imagine
well, and I think that's really where the future of farming is going.
Yeah.
I'm also a big angel investor, and I love the intersection of
Me too.
Technology and food and hospitality, and it's totally where the world is going. There's so many innovations in LED technology that's going to enable really home farming in a way that we have not seen. And again, I think there's just more awareness. Consuming so much animal products is really causing an issue that is almost hard to reverse now.
Yeah.
And again, if you could do it at home, I think your connection to it's greater, it's fun, it's interactive, and there's just nothing better than something that's really grown in the right way with integrity.
Totally.
People all the time, it's funny, I'll give you a great example. So, this is literally one of the bites that people freak out over. It's a green radish. Most people have never had a green radish. They go crazy.
I've never had a green radish.
We just did
Are you serious?
The Edible Schoolyard event on Monday, and people literally were grabbing this and being like, what is it? What is it? And, again, for us, I think...
Sorry,
heard it here first. For us, if we can expose someone, oh my gosh, I love it.
Isn't it cute?
You're just
Guys,
me.
It's a green radish.
If we can expose someone to something they hadn't thought about before in that way, then we're winning. And, for us, this is a really heirloom. We actually just switched our menu. We used to have Brussels sprouts, which are no longer in season.
Now that it's in my hand, what is
this?
So
this is a walnut bagnacotta.
Okay, delish.
So bagnacotta is a traditional Italian dipping sauce with anchovies. Ours has only walnuts with some spices. And again, it's amazing how many people return this and they're like, this has to have anchovies in it. I'm like, there isn't, I swear.
That is amazing.
Same with our egg sandwich. People have written up us and said, they're liars, they have bacon in their sandwich. I'm like,
No.
it's fried pickled onions. It is not bacon, I swear.
Wow.
And we're not trying to make it bacon. Like, it's not Fapin, you know?
Right.
It's just real. So same with this, you know, we have a really cool heirloom variety of broccoli that most people haven't had. The idea is that you really eat the full stem, the leaves, the flowers, the whole bit. It's not bitter, it's actually more on the sweet side.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, again, it's just about sort of exposing people to different things and
Right.
ways that you can honor
Right.
vegetables. We are also zero waste here at Westbourne.
No
so
way.
we use everything. So all the scraps from vegetables go into our falafel.
Oh, wow.
We incorporate them into sauces, into side dishes, everything we absolutely use. Our goal is really to minimize food waste especially.
That's incredible.
But then we recycle and compost here as well. And all of our packaging is 100% compostable.
How dope is that? I didn't
I'm
even realize
crazy.
that. That's amazing. But like, honestly, you don't meet a lot of people who have the amount of integrity and, you know, drive to make that their mission. And if there were more people doing this, we'd be in a lot better situation.
That's the hope. You know, I come
Yeah.
from hippie Los Angeles. Like,
Right.
we were composting before it was popular anywhere. It's totally mandated that you separate your trash. I always say I feel like I still live in Gangs of New York where like people throw stuff on the street. I'm like, wait, this is so
Yeah,
weird.
people
you know?
do that. I mean, it's New York City. People throw shit on the street all the time.
Kind of crazy.
I
You
know.
in California, they publicly shame you. So if you don't separate your trash properly, they won't pick it up for a week.
If you were
and
to
it's
say
like the
something,
whole neighborhood knows
if
because
you were
your
to say
thing's
something
full.
to someone who they'd give you the finger and keep walking. Literally, that's New York. That's the difference right there.
Exactly.
Right.
So for us, you know, our other greater mission is that 1% of every single purchase, top line sales, goes through the Robin Hood Foundation to a local grantee called The Door, which is a couple blocks away. We're investing in hospitality retraining for youth in the neighborhood. And then we
Amazing.
hire from the program. So
Amazing.
when we started, it was really sitting down and saying, you know, if we could do it from scratch, if we can make an impact on our neighborhood and on our greater environment and community, here it's all about community hospitality, neighborhood hospitality. You know, if we're going to give back in that way, we also have to give back in our food and our
Yeah.
perspective. And
Yeah.
that's really what Los Angeles is all about. It's sort of a reap what you sow, feed back into the environment that you're raised in. And I don't know, I guess I didn't realize it was so different until I started.
Right.
But it's been nice that the neighborhood's been so excited
Well,
about it,
that's-
and people like you
Yeah,
keeping
I
us
mean,
jamming.
honestly, it's really, really cool that you have come into a community. You've come into a neighborhood and really made it a community. You know, and you're really trying to enrich that community. And like, you don't see that with a lot of young entrepreneurs who are, you know, it's like, you know, they've got one thing that they're set out to do, it's to get customers, and like that's it. And it seems like obviously your mission is much more wholehearted than just that, and it's really inspiring. It's awesome.
Thank you. I think
You're welcome.
Look, I think for us, it's all the invisible stuff adds up to what you feel.
Yeah.
And whether someone can pinpoint something or knows about it, I do hope that people come into Westbourne and have a different feeling when they're here.
Yeah.
And they think about their lives and what they're doing and how they're giving back in a different way.
Totally.
And I think that's the future of loyalty. I think our generation cares so much more about what brands stand for, how they do things.
do.
I mean, look at Everlane, like
Right.
to understand where a fabric comes from, how it's made,
Right.
what goes into it, and
Right.
understand why it's priced a certain way. I think that there's magic in that, and I think that's starting to really trickle into all things that, you know, we consume, we live.
Totally.
I think it runs the whole gamut.
I completely agree. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the falafel. What's this sauce here? Is this a
So
yogurt?
that is a shallot labna. Labna is a Mediterranean dairy spread.
Okay.
It's got a little California olive oil drizzled over and some cracked pepper. I like them together. You know, some people have their.
Just jump right into
Please
this
do.
guy. right
You
here.
got to tell me how that one is.
Also, you mentioned bolognese earlier, but like a meatless version. It really stuck with me. I saw a recipe recently for like a mushroom bolognese.
Ooh.
Have you ever made such a thing?
I have not, but
Tell me.
I would say I think our falafel would make for a killer bolognese because it
Oh, really?
has that. It just has that rich sort of depth to it, that earthiness that you get from a really good bolognese. And you got to try our mesh ribbon next time. So it's the only thing I think that we've allowed to be sort of like something that's meat related, but we use really amazing maitake mushrooms from a place called Primordia Farms. They're really high quality. We just slow roast them They've got this amazing marinade and spices on it that gives sort of that smokiness. And then it's sort of all the traditional fixins of a Reuben, including amazing
I've had it before. It's actually
purple
outrageous.
cabbage.
It's outrageous. So do you know, have you gone to all of the farms that you source from?
Most. Not exactly all. And
they're all pretty local for the most part?
Most are local and organic where we can.
Yeah.
We actually work very closely with a large food distributor called Baldor. Their
I know.
CEO lives right around the corner. He's young, he's awesome, he's got a young family. They're amazing supporters of ours, and it's really been a partnership and a lot of collaboration of saying, hey, like, this is a farm, this is a product. Like, for example, we used an amazing organic fresh pressed juice company out of Los Angeles, and they ended up not being able to supply very shortly when we opened. And so we called Baldor and said, hey, like, these are 3 companies we're looking at. Can you try and bring them on? We'd love to have them be sort of part of our distribution network. Sure enough, a couple months later, they made it happen, and we now have raw juice, which is awesome.
That's amazing.
So I think that's the key, is really building those relationships. Primordia farms, they drop off themselves. They're really mushrooms that are super special. And, to your point of growing at home, I think the more connection you have to where things are grown and harvested, I just think, first of all, I think the flavors are unparalleled.
I agree.
And I think it just makes you more interested in trying to incorporate it, to your point of the bolognese,
Right.
If you had a fresh vegetable that maybe you didn't know about before, now you're going to think of ways to integrate it. Hopefully you'll integrate the green radish somewhere now.
That's crazy.
But couldn't you see that as being a bolognese? There's just something about that, I don't know, it just has that real earthiness to it.
Definitely. That's delicious.
So ours has lentils. We use our broccoli stems as the base and fold in a little bit of egg and some spices.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's pretty awesome. It's one of my faves.
Love that.
Yeah, and it's the only thing, it's the only thing on that dish making it not vegan, but we can sometimes people put avocado, or we just add other vegetables just because of the egg.
Right. Yeah. Which, tell me, so I know you're not a vegetarian, so how do you kind of subscribe for your own personal kind of eating? Because obviously I'm sure you eat 2 out of your 3 meals, you're assuming. So I guess you probably keep mostly vegetarian diet. But
yeah, look, I say my mom's from LA, my dad's from Denver, and I'm very much both sides of that coin. I am steak raw with fries for sure, and could not love a burger more. But this is also totally how I crave and what I want to eat.
Right.
I think for me, it's all about balance, and I think here it's all about balance.
Rhyme or rhythm as to how I'm supposed to get all this into my mouth. I feel like
be daring. I know there's no polite way to eat that one.
Sorry. Like, this is.
We could put the censor screen on. Exactly. Fun with food.
How to do it. Whatever.
That's sauce too. Our Calabrian chili aioli is.
That's insane.
It's amazing. So I don't know. For me, it's really about balance. I think that. Look, there are people that do it really intensely and people that think about plant-based sort of in a real prescribed kind of preachy way. And then I think for me, it's really about, again, if I can change your mind a couple days a week, couple meals a week, I think multiplying that by the people that come here, I think we've done a great job.
Totally.
And I think for us, it's about being inclusive, not polarizing. I think that's part of what I think, even like, we don't advertise that we're vegetarian.
Right.
We don't put it on the menu. We've had a lot of questions about, why don't you put GF and why don't you put B and all these designations? And I said, you know what? Like, why do we always have to be labeled?
Right.
Why can't it just be good?
Right.
And so even like on Google, we don't talk about ourselves as being vegetarian. It's not how we want to be tagged.
Right.
It doesn't say it on the menu. And I think, again, it's about being inclusive. I feel like someone who's vegetarian or vegan is going to seek out those designated restaurants.
Right.
We're interested in obviously serving them, but also
People
helping open people's eyes who wouldn't think that way.
Exactly. Totally.
So,
Something that I've been super surprised about with going plant-based is I feel as though, like, first of all, going plant-based doesn't mean that you're not eating, like, animal protein. It just means that you're eating mostly plants. But I guess I've, like, been very surprised by the amount of variety and, like, there's so much to do with vegetables, and coming to a restaurant like this where it just shows you how creative you really can be. And it's been like, that's probably been like my biggest eye-opening experience with going plant-based. Because before I was eating keto, which is like very restrictive, and I feel even less I feel like I can eat anything and everything being plant-based because there's just so many options. It's kind of crazy.
I totally agree. I think, so I went to culinary school here in the city. I went to the French Culinary Institute. Now I guess ICC, they renamed it.
Yeah.
And my favorite station was always the vegetarian station because they never had recipes. You got to make whatever you wanted, and it definitely pulls you out of your comfort zone and sort of gets those creative juices flowing. To your point of, okay, I like bolognese, like what can I do?
Yeah.
Okay, I love that I tried a green radish, or this is in season, like what can I do with it? I just think, like, there's all these services in Los Angeles, like Farm Box, where they just take farmers market stuff. You just get a box of random stuff.
Like a CSA?
Something like that.
But it's more on like a subscription delivery basis situation.
Totally. And it's just really fresh stuff, what's in season, what they have available. But it gets you excited to say, okay, with this bounty, you know, what do we do? And I think similarly here, it's sort of like, what are we craving? What's interesting? What's in season? What reminds me, you know, in our team of home of Los Angeles, like what can be nostalgic, craveable, exciting, and different with a twist. Sort of every one of our dishes, I think, seems really simple and basic, but everything has a little bit of a twist underneath.
I think it also allows you to play more with a spice profile.
Totally.
Because there's so many ways that you can make it taste and feel and remind you of just by using different spices that I think, you know, when you're eating meat is kind of a little bit more difficult to accomplish.
Totally. And I think, look, I mean, I said the same when I went to culinary school. Like, yeah, you plop a pound of butter on anything, it's going to be amazing. Like, you fry anything, it's going to be awesome. Our beef chips, for example, they're insane.
Yeah,
like,
they are insane.
All they are is just beef. They taste delicious. You know, taking something that's maybe simple or humble, like a radish, you know, like a potato, and what can you really do with that and elevate it and get someone to think a little bit differently. Yeah.
I'm going to make a cauliflower couscous this weekend.
Ooh.
It's basically cauliflower rice, but I think like the spice profile I'm making is going to be more of like a Moroccan situation then.
So how far in advance do you plan your meals?
You know what? I don't plan them that far in advance, except for we're having people over. Like for instance, tonight I have the night off, but I'm like not even worried about what's for dinner. I'm just going to go home and figure out like what's in the fridge and just, you know. But I think when I have friends over, I'm like, okay, so I put something together. And I just saw something recently with like a beautiful couscous, but it wasn't a cauliflower couscous. I was like, I bet you I could do that with cauliflower.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like about is just like seeing something and then trying to figure it out like in the style that you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm very much about feeling it out in moderation. I don't necessarily like to follow recipes. I like to like feel it out.
Totally. I'm the person that looks at the recipe, kind of thinks about ideas, and I'm like, great, no. You know, I'm like inspired by those things, but I have to sort of...
a little twist.
I like the challenge. It's more fun that way.
I know. I'm the same.
The unexpected.
Yeah. What sign are you?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. Aries.
I'm a Scorpio.
Ah.
Are we like... I don't even know what Aries...
I don't know, but I have a friend who could tell us.
Oh,
I have an amazing astrologer friend.
Oh, really?
Nadine Astrology. You should check out her Instagram. It's amazing.
Oh my God, what is it?
And she does amazing couples readings. We just did it for our anniversary.
Oh my gosh, really? Wait, when was your anniversary?
Apparently couples have signs together.
Yeah. Oh,
so they take your two charts, but it's not a blend. You actually have a chart for your couple, like as an external entity.
Because we did a reading where his chart, my chart, and then we just kind of like saw like the strength, weaknesses, whatever, and like the compatibility.
Your couple actually has its own chart.
No.
And sometimes it looks like one person, sometimes it looks like the other, sometimes it looks like a blend, and sometimes it looks like neither, which is super interesting.
What's your husband's sign?
He's a Capricorn.
Okay.
And you will love the visuals. But our sign is like neither of us, which is super interesting.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So that's you as a couple? Mm-hmm. And doesn't look like either of you?
Neither.
But is it representative? Do you think it's representative of
100%.
Oh my God.
We're very independent. And so she was telling us how, because our signs don't look blended, it means that both parties are very independent and sort of have their own focus. And what was interesting, she said, everyone has that girlfriend who totally assumes the boyfriend's personality and sort of like gets sucked into their world. And she always says, she goes, you can see from the chart, it'll only look like one spouse or one partner. And it's really interesting. She's like, you can tell the power dynamics and sort of what they're like as a couple. Which is true. You have friends, I have friends who are amazing friends and then they're totally different.
Totally.
In a couple.
Yes, it's insane.
Your personality is different, so it should have its own chart.
That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. But it was interesting.
Yeah.
It makes total sense that you would have your own. Yeah.
I gotta.
So you're gonna stay plant-based past the month of April?
Yeah. I think so. For me, I'm like, I would never go to a steak restaurant and not eat the steak that, if I'm in France and it's like, you know what I mean? So, but I am enjoying eating a predominantly plant-based diet. I have not had meat since I started.
Which was?
March.
Oh, wow.
January, February, March, April. February 25th.
Wow, so that's a long time.
Yeah, it's been like 2 months. I haven't had any meat, haven't had any fish. I've only had eggs maybe like a handful of times. Wow. I'm feeling pretty good. I thought it was going to be a really different transition, and especially like someone as active as I am, I needed like a lot of protein.
Yep.
Not finding like that I feel like depleted, or I don't feel like I, look like I've lost muscle tone. Like I feel pretty good. So it's interesting because so many people tell you what you should be eating and how you should be eating for a certain lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. I obviously really like figuring it out for myself and listening to my body. So I'm enjoying this experiment, and I'm just going to see how it goes.
I mean, I totally agree. I think, again, I think balance and, look, if you're going plant-based and you're only eating potatoes, that's not a good thing either.
Totally.
I would say if you can,
although there is a place in Germany, like some spa that you go and you only eat potatoes, and it's like some like weight loss camp. It's like crazy.
That doesn't mean you don't lose weight. It just means it's not healthy.
Right. True.
Well, it's interesting. People always say, oh, your food's, very colorful, very bright, it's, great in photos, blah, blah, blah. And I always say, yeah, but that is also how you're supposed to eat. You're supposed to sort of taste the rainbow in all that you consume. And I think for me, that is a great way to test, okay, am I getting a lot of different vitamins, nutrition, et cetera. And all of that's important, sort of diversity of agriculture.
Right.
It's interesting. Have you read Third Plate that Dan Barber wrote? It's got to put that on your list since you're plant-based now. It's interesting. I read it, a little while ago, and it was always in the back of my mind, especially as I was thinking about building Westbourne. And, so much of what they talk about is industrialization and how that's changed so much of our world. And then on the flip side, what inspired me was it really is up to chefs, restaurants, where we eat out. We're really sort of the go-between between the land and what people consume.
Totally.
We all remember when kale happened, and it's like no one had heard about kale, and then all of a sudden it was on every menu. There's a huge responsibility, I think, as a restaurant, as a chef, as people who, put food out into the world, both digitally and in real life.
Yeah.
What are you sharing? Are you only sharing salmon? Are you only sharing, sea bass? Well, yeah, then everyone's going to order salmon.
Right.
You're talking about an heirloom carrot, or that there's this whole ugly produce movement of, ugly produce is delicious too.
And
we don't have to be afraid of it.
And it doesn't have to be genetically modified to look good so that a customer will buy it. And I really commend you with the, that you think that there is a responsibility, because as a consumer, we trust you with that responsibility.
100%.
And I certainly, when I go out to eat a steak at a fine dining restaurant, it's because I trust that, they've sourced it at the right place, and you know what I mean? And it's an unspoken thing that I feel like a lot of restaurateurs take advantage of. But then there's, the outliers.
Well, and look, it's a risk. This business is tough. It's a intense operating business, and I think there is a risk
80%
of changing a dish. When people came in today, it still says Brussels on our menu, and I had to say, you know what, they're no longer in season. We're switching it. We're doing the same prep. Tell us what you think. But I also think you have to sort of educate and share and story tell. It's not that easy just to say, you know what, we're going to do something different, and this is why.
No, you have to do it on all the different platforms. You've got to it's a whole thing. And 80% of New York restaurants go out of business in their first year. So I commend you for taking the leap and like the risk, and putting like and communicating it with the transparency in the foreground.
We'll do this again after a year.
Exactly. Perfect.
But it's been exciting. I think, again, just getting a chance to really change people's minds, make them think differently, and hopefully surprise and inspire them.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't realize I could incorporate this. I didn't think about that spice. I didn't know. So, for example, our aioli is a Calabrian chili and Sunkissed tomato aioli that we make in-house. It is spectacular.
It's
but
crazy.
a lot of people have asked me, what are Sunkissed tomatoes? Like, never even heard of those. They're sort of halfway between a sun-dried and a fresh tomato. They come in jars. They can be preserved. And again, it's a way to have tomatoes that are sustainable and in a way that makes sense seasonality-wise. So, again, having someone ask something like that, in this type of a casual sort of cozy environment, you don't often expect to be able to discover something. So.
Right. Very cool.
But dining out's an experience. That's what it should be.
Yes, exactly. Okay, cool.
This was so fun.
Yeah, it was so good.
Next time we'll get our horoscope read.
Oh my gosh. Part 2, guys, coming soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of HBFIT TV. Don't forget to subscribe to more episodes and follow Camilla and Westbourne on Instagram at Westbourne.
At Westbourne, WESTBOURNE, and mine is at _Camilla Ruth _.
Perfect.
See lots of food and you'll see that I'm not a vegetarian.
Awesome. Bye, guys.